You're watching City Channel 4, your window to our community.
My name is Wendy Ford, and I work at the City of Iowa City along with my colleague Tracy Haichu. And we have, hi, we're so glad you're here, first of all. So welcome to the first ever class in a series that we hope will get everybody thinking about how to start a business. If you've ever had one of those $1 million ideas, or if you have a passion that you'd like to turn into a business, we're hoping that this series of classes will give you some ideas on next steps to take. So welcome today. We're so glad you're here. We did have the pre-registration list in the back, and I think most of you checked off your name or either wrote in your name and made a check that you were here. That helps us keep track of how many folders we've given away. This is the class folder, and we encourage you, if you're going to be coming back for the next sessions, to keep that folder, bring it back again. There may be handouts at the next session that you would like to keep all together in this. Some of our sponsors have put additional information and goodies in the back, so they encourage you to take those as well as do we. We do have refreshments today, and so feel free at any time to get up and grab a cup of coffee. Hopefully it's still hot. And some pastries. Those are from the Cottage Bakery. We were hoping to be able to patronize another local small business in an effort to support those businesses that we try to grow locally. So in honor of Small Business Week, or month, I guess, the month of May, we're here to try and start new businesses and honor those that we have in town as well. So again, thanks for coming. We've got, this is the first in the series. The next 4 after this will be on next Saturday, May 21st, will be a class called Look Before You Leap, Legal Issues to Think About and to Learn About Before You Get Into Your Business. On the Tuesday following that will be a class called Licenses, Permits, and Taxes, Oh My. Might sound a little bit dry, but these are all things, if you're considering going into business, that you really should know, at least have some knowledge of. And we have a great group, the Community CPA, one of our sponsors here, that will be helping us deliver those classes. The one following that, a week later, Tuesday, May 31st, is Choosing the Right Tax Structure. And the last one is financial statements and what they say about your business. And for those of you that are going to be putting together a business plan and maybe approaching a financial institution for a loan, you'll need to know about how to present your financials. So this entire series is going to be very helpful for you. And again, we're so glad you're here with us today. So let me introduce and pass it over to Tracy.
All right. Hi, I'm Tracy Haichu. I'm with the City of Iowa City Neighborhood Services. It's great that we have so many people in attendance that want to start businesses, so that is just wonderful to see. I want to remind everybody that if you attend 4 of the 5 workshops, we enter you into a drawing on that last day. You don't need to be present to win for a $100 gift certificate at Staples, so make sure you always check in. Please take any of the information out there. The folder that you got, the black folder, has the city's programs. So if you have questions about loans, programs that we offer at the city, don't hesitate to contact me or Wendy. Our information is in all the, you'll see our name plastered on all the materials that you get today. I do want to thank our sponsors, our city for sponsoring this event, Kirkwood for the facilities. They're also going to be one of the speakers. One of the Kirkwood attorneys is going to do your next, the legal issues in business. Community CPA. They have over 5,000 clients worldwide. They're more than just an accounting firm. They provide business consultation, tax planning, payroll. They're going to be doing the workshops 3, 4, and 5. They also are going to be doing workshops this summer as well, and they have information on the tables. If you want to sign up, we have the sign-up sheets as you leave if you're interested in going to those classes as well. We also want to thank 3 banks particularly for supporting this, Hills Bank and Trust, Midwest One, and the University of Iowa Community Credit Union. At the end of this, make sure we have your email or phone. We will be sending a survey to say, do these series help you? If they didn't, what can we do to, when we do this again next year, what can we do to that would help businesses grow to start in Iowa City? So we'll email that out, and if you can provide us your response, that would be great. The bathrooms, if you need them, are out just outside in the hall. The trash cans right outside in the hall. And then I think that's, any questions about today? Okay. I want to introduce Tres Mentes Salsa, our speaker for today. They are a Des Moines-based business in salsa. Philip and Angelo Campos are here. And so welcome. Come on up.
How's everybody doing today? Good. First off, thank you guys for coming in and spending your Saturday with us. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Dan, for allowing us to come in. And we're truly honored to be here today speaking with you guys. So just so I can get a feel of the room, I take it everybody in this class, the reason why you're here is you're looking to obviously start your own business, correct? Every single person. Well, perfect. That's now that we can get a feel of the room. My brother and I want to bring the most value to you guys as much as possible. So we're going to tell you guys our story, but in an hour or 45 minutes that we have, instead of us just telling you guys about what we've done, we really want to open it up for Q&A to have you guys ask questions about, how we started our business and what we can do from there. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of where we're from, Angelo's going to play a video real quick of our company. So, all right. So, yeah, basically when we started our company, my brother and I just graduated. I graduated from St. Ambrose University, which is in Davenport, so not too far away from here. And then he also graduated from St. Ambrose as well, business degrees. But to be completely honest with you guys, I graduated and had no idea what I wanted to do. I had my degree, and I just thought, like most college graduates, just go to the biggest corporation, apply, and there's your big boy job. I ended up working at an insurance company. My brother worked at Wells Fargo, and a year and a half into us working our jobs, we just looked at each other and just were saying, is this it? Is this what we're supposed to do? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, we'd go on lunch breaks together, and he worked across the street from me, and we'd always say, hey, is this what we imagined, like what we would be doing right out of college, like just to start paying bills and doing something that we really didn't like? So we've always had like entrepreneurial tendencies. Like I did the whole lemonade stand thing. I did the whole selling basketball cards. Like I like selling. I just didn't know what I wanted to start a business in. So we liked food. And you can kind of go into how this spiraled and snowballed into.
Yep. So basically, the number one question that people ask us all the time is, how the heck did you guys land on salsa? We're a couple of Asian brothers that we always like to tell we're a couple of Asian brothers that make salsa for a living. We didn't have some master plan. It wasn't some secret recipe that passed down from generation to generation. We just simply, what my brother and I are really good at is we're good at hustling a product to the stores. We see a potential product that we can see that has a need, and that's what we can fulfill. We happen to find a recipe, just like what many of you guys probably have recipes in your kitchen books or cookbooks or whatever, and we toyed around with it. And what we started doing is people would have potlucks at work and whatnot, and we would just set out salsa and chips while we were working and just said, hey, if you guys like this, let me know. And yeah, I remember distinctively the very first time I put it in my break room at work. And it wasn't just in my break room, it was I did it for every floor. And I just put a little sign with some chips and salsa and said, if you guys like this, just let me know. And I remember emails just started coming in. It's like, can I get some of this? And I was like, I remember they asked me, like, how much do you want? And I was like, I have no idea. But that was like one of those aha moments that happened. And go ahead.
He sent the emails to me, and I wish I would have saved them because there was I was sitting at Wells Fargo just like spacing out like a board and whatever. So he sent me all these emails, and then that's when it clicked in my head. I knew right then and there. I was like, man, we're gonna be rich because what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a label on this, and we're gonna get this to the market as fast as possible. So once I saw those emails, I knew right then and there, if strangers like this, all I got to do, it's just a matter of time. I just got to get it out to everyone. Sure. You know what I mean?
So all of you guys have a product or service in mind. And same thing for us. Now what we took is just that proof of concept. So everybody besides my mom, dad, friends, and family, everybody that's buying it are the people that we really want to attract. So we made the strategy of going into work, putting it in break rooms. And when people ask, hey, did you make it? I would tell them, no, my friend's looking to start their own business. Please give me honest feedback. And just so people would give me honest feedback instead of, my parents or my mom. It's the best tasting sauce in the world. So yeah, like I said, to keep going, I got emails. I sent them over to my brother. And so the next thing is, how can we bring this into some type of market? Now, I wish I was sitting with you guys right now 3 years ago, because I didn't know that entrepreneurship was a real honest thing. So you guys are very fortunate. And I always say thank you guys for coming in here, because this is definitely the first step. Because when my brother and we've learned on the fly. We did a lot of things, like looking on YouTube videos, going on Google, how to start your own business. As simple as that.
Yeah, literally take advantage of all these workshops because they're free. And some of them provide food. So it's when we speak at these, I'm wondering where everybody's at, because this is like something that everybody should be doing. Like along with like your main job, at least if you're going to start your own business, like really engage in these type of workshops because they bring a lot of value.
Yeah, so we heard of these things like you guys saw in the video called farmers markets. And to be honest with you, we had never been to a farmers market in our entire lives. So we started off at this small Beaverdale farmers market. And that first picture you saw of the tent was our very first ever, picture of our stand. And I remember we'd go there every Thursday. And mind you, we were still working our 9-to-5 jobs. We would get off and then we would work the farmers market stand. And then that's when it really started to click that random people were coming up to us and saying, hey, I really like this stuff. So we started selling at all the farmers markets around the Des Moines area. And then pretty soon we started building really a big following where people were like synonymous, where those are those two brothers that make the salsa. So we went. Yeah,
we made a really conscious. I think what sets us apart is we really studied the market. Like I know all our competitors in the area, and I know what they do well and what they're weak at. And if you're going to start any type of business, that's what I would say. Number one is know who you're going up against, and just exploit their weaknesses. Because I look at business, it's a sport. Like I'm working 24/7 to put you out of business in my industry. So that's what I would do. I'd study. I'd look. No, I'm being serious. Yeah, because like the market, it's if we're competing for money and we're competing for dollars, I'm trying to get the biggest piece of the pie in the Des Moines area, and I believe we have the biggest traction in that area as far as the market for salsa, and that's really what it is. It's just if you're taking notes, study the market. We figured out that they're not really focusing on social media, so we just made a huge push on social media because everybody has like, oh, I have the best product or whatever, but how are you marketing that? What's your marketing strategy? And that's what sets us apart as far as a salsa company. And what I would also do, and Phil and I, we would go to the farm or go to the grocery stores and we'd look at packaging. Because if you're a consumer, I always try to reverse engineer on how, like if I was going to go buy something, why would I go see, like why would this pop up off the shelf? And I noticed that their packaging was pretty, in my eyes, it was basic, you know what I mean? So I said, hey, let's just call ourselves the gold standard of salsa and put a gold label on it. Nobody's doing that in the section that we're doing. And so we just little things, little details. And that's really how we got it going as far as like setting ourselves apart. We have a quality product now. What's our marketing strategy? And just really building on social media, guys. Like you'd be surprised if you're still marketing on TV and newspaper ads, you guys are gonna get left in the dust. I'll be flat out honest with you. Everybody's attention is on their phones, like Facebook, Instagram. What else is there? Snapchat. Though in my eyes, that's ABC, that's TV, that's like those are all the major channels that people are on. So you need to figure out how to grab people's attention on that. In whatever you're selling or whatever your service product, whatever it is. So
yeah, they say that in the next 5 years, the TV will be the radio and the cell phone will be the TV. So all the platforms, anything that's on your guys' front screens, all those apps are like CNN, NBC, and the more times people click on those, that's where their attention is. And so kind of to rewind to keep going on about our story is, so we went farmers markets. We started selling about 200 to 300 of these containers just at the regular, farmers markets. And then we were like, what do we do next? So a lady came up to us and said, hey, have you guys ever been to these things called craft shows? Now, has anybody ever been to like a arts and craft show? A couple? Okay, so then again, once again, my brother and I had never been to anything like that before. So we would literally drive to, I believe, Council Bluffs, Coralville. We would drive on the weekends, Friday through Sunday, and then do a craft show. then go back to work Monday through Friday on our regular jobs. But, like I said, we'd travel to Council Bluffs, Omaha, Coralville, and we would just do this. And sooner rather than later, more and more people started finding out about what we were doing. And the last question right at our very last craft show was, when are you guys going to be in my Hy-Vee? And so my brother and I said, I think we've built up the following now. It's now time to go into a grocery store chain and really pitch our product. The video that you guys saw was probably about, how long ago was that, Joe?
That was probably almost 2 years ago.
About 2 years.
Close
It was
to 2 years,
14
yeah.
stores. We're in about 65 stores now. Hy-Vees, Fairways. If you guys are familiar with the Des Moines area, a lot of kind of those organic grocery stores, so like Gateway Market, Brick Street Market. We just had a meeting with Whole Foods here just recently. And so we decided to go into Hy-Vee because I assume Iowa City, you guys have a lot of Hy-Vees here as well. Hy-Vee's like the big boy, good chain right here. So we decided to go with the biggest chain. We could have went with a smaller, grocery store chain, but we decided to go with Hy-Vee. And we went into every single, we said 14 stores at the time. We went to every single store at 6 in the morning before we had to go to work at 8 to pitch to a produce manager. And the reason why we had so much leverage is because we told them what we've already done. Now, for a lot of you guys, you have your product service, but what's the numbers behind that? Have you started selling any product? Okay, how many are people demanding it? So we could easily walk into any Hy-Vee and say, we've sold about 20,000 of these units. We have people that are going and wanting to see this in your store. All we ask is you give us one shot, and we'll go from there. And so we did that to every single store, and every single store let us in. And from that day forward, I always told Angelo, I said, the door has been open. Don't ever let it shut. So we just keep going. Anytime they need something, we're there. Go ahead.
One tip I would give if you're starting your business, the number one skill I would master is master sales. If anything else, accounting, you can find someone to do that. Or if you're not good at,
With community CPA.
community CPA, you'll get them to do your accounting. But just master sales. Like whatever product or service it is, just figure out how to do that. That's the number one thing, because cash, it's all about cash. Like that's how you get your business. That's how it runs fluidly, and that's what keeps everything running is cash, continuous cash. What else were you?
Yeah, the number one thing that these store owners or anybody that you're really selling your product to is how can they benefit from it. And so we weren't just going into a grocery store manager and saying, hey, we make some of the best salsa you have ever tasted. It is fresh. It's awesome. We were going in there saying, this is how we can sell this product as fast as possible off your store shelves. This is the margin that we have, and this is how much money that you're going to make if you put it in our store or your store. And so we were using those type of questions because at the end of the day, you can have the most best tasting product, but they just want to know how it can sell for them. And so it's always about what you can do for other people. And so whenever we speak to any class or any type of workshop, my sole purpose isn't to brag or to tell you guys about what we're doing. Our sole purpose is to see what value we can bring to you guys in your business. And so if you go at that approach in business, so many people nowadays, when they're trying to sell you something, it's always about them. What can they get out of you? And we've used the route of what can I give to you that you would ultimately want to come back and get value from me. And so if you guys go about that route of helping others first or getting to understand a person first, you can definitely get more business from it. I mean, we met Dan because we sat down and spoke with Ying at Community CPA, and he invited us to come out here, and and it's just the connections that you can have by just seeking to understand before being understood. So, did you want to
some
add?
other marketing tactics we did is we just really incorporated that it takes money to make money. People are so quick, like, I have this product, I need to start selling it, I need to monetize it right away. We would go to the same approach how we brought it to our office. We'd connect with other of our other friends that are in corporate jobs and said, hey, when are you guys having a food day? I'd like to bring my product there, set you up with it, because it's just I want them to try it and then just see what the I have my container and logo be seen everywhere, product placement and all that. And that's what we do. We deliver it. We give so much free product out because we knew down the road, we're not competing for short-term money. We're trying to create long-term value. And that's what we would always do, is just we'd find creative marketing events. What else besides craft shows? We would just do everything. We were everywhere.
Iowa State game was very big for us. I remember we used to go out to all the local business, so like John Deere, Wells Fargo, and we would literally just be handing out,
And you just want to stay as a business. You want to stay relevant, because we were very good at executing is staying relevant, because everybody wants what everybody wants and nobody wants what nobody wants. So you just have to always just be out there hustling. That's really all we did, is we just hit the pavement, and we wanted it more than anybody else. And I think that's the reason why we're just hungrier than our competitor. And that's why we've been able to, in a short time frame, like in the first year of sales, we did 6 figures, and we're continuing to grow faster and faster because we are staying relevant. We're holding the attention of the customers, and we're telling a story. Because marketing is no longer about the products you sell. It's honestly the stories you're telling via social media. That's what I believe. Like, the more you can, who's more transparent as a company, and who can show a personality behind your brand, will stand the test of time as a company. So.
Yeah. No, he hit it right on the nail. I mean, for us, it's always been about staying as relevant as possible, meaning, like you said, any type of social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, you got to use it, especially if you're really trying to promote your business, because the difference, I mean, you can find a whole wall full of salsas on the grocery store, but when you see a Facebook video of these two.
Let's show them the Thanksgiving event.
Well,
show you that.
Yeah, the two brothers. When Angelo, one things that we like to do is we like to kind of separate ourselves from our competition. So we look at our brand or our company as more than just food. And so what we've tried to do is study all of the bigger companies, like the Apples, the Nikes, and just seeing what they can do. And I know that's such a stretch for some people to think, but for us, one of the things, like I said, is just giving back so that people know, hey, these guys are more than just about selling this. So Angelo's going to play a video that we did back in Thanksgiving of last year, and we just decided to team up with a local company and just give food back to people. Has nothing to do about our product, but it says everything about us. It's similar to like an Apple commercial. So Angelo, if you want to play that real quick.
So we'll play this, and then should we just really open it up for Q&A and just,
Yeah, we can do that as well. Okay. So, yeah, but our approach to it is we want people to know that we care more than just about our product. And in doing so, it really helps.
Cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. Cause you're a sky full of stars. Cause you light up the park. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. 'Cause in the sky full of stars, I think I saw you.
So like I said, you can go to any grocery store and see a whole wall of salsas, but when you see a Facebook post from a company and you see that they're really giving back to what they really want to do, it really changes your perspective on why you support what they do. And Anzo skipped over this, but before, once we started launching in the grocery stores, there was an opportunity that came across to us in Des Moines. And I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the show Shark Tank. So they had a casting call here out in Des Moines, and my brother and I casted out for the show. Now, it works similar to like American Idol, where you can go through like the first round, second round, and the third round. We made the third and final round of the show. We didn't quite make the actual show, but we were on the front page of the Des Moines Register. We were in all the newspaper articles, which really kind of just helped our business push forward from a marketing standpoint. So my point to you guys is just be out there. Get as uncomfortable as possible, because when you start your own business, you have to be the face. You have to be the words. You have to be, everything that people can see in your business. You really have to put yourself out there. Trust me, my brother and I would go to like Council Bluffs, Iowa, and we'd be the two Asian brothers going in there and setting up shop, and we would talk all weekend long. And those are the type of things that you need to do. We call it being in the trenches, really grinding it out, because nobody else will. And when you first start out, it's all about getting your name out there. And I think you couldn't have had a better time. I say this to a lot of college kids, but I would like to say we are so lucky, all of us, to have been born right now at this point in time. My parents did not have, my mom now is in love with Facebook, but they did not have what we have right now. And I don't think people truly understand that type of leverage that each one of us has. You can be on your Facebook, your Snapchat, your whatever, promoting your business in a clever way that people can really buy into that. My brother and I are really good at storytelling, and I think that's the number one thing I would say for you guys is tell your story and make it go as viral as you can, as fast as or viral as possible, because I don't have to be knocking on doors anymore. People always ask, when are you guys going to have commercials for like TV? And we say, why? Because we have Facebook, and it's half the price, if not less than that. And so my answer to you guys is just really utilize all that stuff that you're looking at on your cell phone and really understand from a business perspective how dramatic it can make your business. Did you want to add anything to that, Angelo?
No, I mean, if you guys to get a feel like who owns a small business here, like is someone thinking about starting a business and wants to know like some just like nuts and bolts, or like what questions you guys have? Let's just open it up for that.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. No, so,
Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, so her question was starting up with very little. And that's actually a great question. So my brother and I never had any outside investment from the start. We used our paychecks every 2 weeks, pumped our own money in. And when we first started, it was always about pinching pennies. Now, I think a lot of, if not everybody in this room, when they start their own business, I think the number one thing should be start small and work your way up. One of the biggest, go ahead, John.
I would just grow your business organically as possible and try avoiding loans as much as possible. We just chipped away at it because I think we come from an area that we built it from the ground up, that every penny counts. So every decision matters. Whereas if somebody takes out a $100,000 loan, they're just firing away, making mistakes left and right. So we would really think out our strategy going forward. So we just we'd start at farmers market, sell out there, reinvest the money, and just kept building it. And then once we got closer to like building, when we were at craft shows and money started coming in more and more, and I quit my job, I just said, the heck with it. Like, I'll just cash out my 401k, pump it into the business. And it's been the best decision I've ever made. So we have no debt on the company, and we just continue to grow it as organically as possible. So that's what I say. If you're starting very little, either I would just say try selling small and go from there, or find a co-founder that has a strength that you're not good at, or if they just want to bring cash to the table, but something like other routes like that. But I would shy away from taking out like a loan right away if you have to.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
When you start your farmers market, did you make the food in your own kitchen, or did you have to rent a commercial kitchen?
Great
It's a good
question.
question.
So yeah, her question was, what types, when we first started, did we make it in our own kitchen, or did we have a kitchen that was commercial, or have any goings before that. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. What I did was I had to do a lot of research because I am so new to the food industry. So I would find out what the licensing was, figured out all that, and you do need a commercial kitchen, and we have very little money. So this is what I'm talking about. When you don't have a lot of money, you get creative. You get I can't think of the word right now, but I would find out because renting a commercial kitchen, I called the health inspector. He said that you pretty much need a restaurant kitchen, and I looked at Phil. I was like, I think that's probably where this ends because there's no way I'm going to be able to afford a restaurant. You know what I mean? Selling salsa. So what I would do is, okay, I just need to rent someone's kitchen that owns a restaurant. So if you're familiar with Des Moines, there's skywalks. Like there's skywalks, there's restaurants in there. They're only open Monday through Friday during the lunch hours. So how are they making money on the weekends? They ain't making money on the weekends. So my pitch, then this is where sales and communication. This is where it comes into play. I would pitch to every restaurant in the skywalk, hey, would you like to make some money on the weekends when you're not open? And just pique their interest. They're like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I want to make money? Well, here's how you can do it. Yep. I need to rent your kitchen from X amount of hours to whatever, so that way I can generate money. So it's just negotiating the price. And that's what we did for the first 6 months to really build the cash flow and go from there. And then from renting a restaurant in the Skywalk, we built enough cash flow, and then we started renting out this old brewery that I had connected with somebody via Craigslist. So it's a funny story. Yeah, we literally just built it up from there, and then now we have our own commercial facility in Grimes, which is a suburb of Des Moines, and now we're looking to expand it and outgrow that and get into a bigger commercial kitchen facility.
Great question. Okay, so the question was, at what point did we write a business plan? We're not the smartest guys in the classroom, I'll be honest with you. We really didn't have a concrete piece of paper business plan. We just kind of learned on the fly. One of our mentors always told us the biggest tool that you guys can use is Google. You can really learn a lot of stuff on the internet. I want to say we would have put up to a business plan, but really, we just kind of ran with the demand.
Yeah. I honestly think in this day and age, if you're, unless you're trying to go for an investor and you're trying to break down the numbers, the financial statements and all that, yeah, do a business plan. But no, I don't. In our specific situation, I didn't feel it was that big of unless you're trying to map something out. But no, we just learned on the fly. My business plan and the way I learned is when on watching Shark Tank, YouTube, Google, and just really learning the market. That's just doing your homework. That's all it is. Before you waste any time, any money starting a business, just do your homework.
And to answer your question, I do feel like it is very important just to lay some type of structure for the company when you first start. Angelo brings up a great point. Before you guys waste any time, get your P's and Q's in the line. And one of the things that I want to piggyback on that topic is get your legal paperwork ready. Although you may think that your business really isn't too much right now, you should always have the mindset that it's going to be a six-figure business in the next year. And that's why my brother and I, from day one, since we printed off our first labels off my dad's printer and we saw them come out, we immediately thought this is going to be a big business. The reason I say that is because once you're working so hard to make it that goal, you're going to see really quick that people will start coming in as fast as possible saying that they contributed. My brother and I own 50-50 equity in our company from day one. We've had instances where, the place where we rented our kitchen out for the very first time, we had a contract signed with them. And then after we really started growing business and they found out that we were getting into all these grocery stores, they demanded 50% of our company, or they were going to not let us work there anymore. And we gladly just put the keys down and said, we'll figure out our own things. But my main point is that get your legal paperwork ready, whether it's with your partner, whether it's with yourself or anything, because you just want to know right off the bat, establish who has what, and so that people are clear. And for Angelo and I, it gets kind of tricky because people always ask, how do you guys deal with working with each other 24/7, working with family? I guess the question they always ask is, how do you guys do it? Because I guess the saying is that you don't mix business with family. My brother and I, however, have a very unique relationship. I actually prefer working with nobody else besides him because of the honesty that we have towards one another. I can be honest with him versus if I was working with my best friend, it's kind of like, well, he's not putting in his work. Well, I'll let it slide this time, and then it builds up over time. When this guy's not doing his job, I tell him. And when I'm not doing my job, he tells me. And we're honest with each other. Yes, we fight like everybody else. But at the end of the day, my brother says it best. If we don't do nothing, we don't get paid. And so there's been plenty of times where we've just had to put our head down and just keep going. But yeah, to answer your question, I think it does have its purpose. But for us, in our specific situation, we didn't quite have one. So
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
In the back, yeah. That's what I was looking at. I can't say. Thank you. Yeah.
So the question was, why is our company called Tres Mentes? Well, I'm sure everybody's familiar with Tres, which is 3, and then Mentes. Well, what's that? Yeah, so 3 minds. As you can see, there's only Dos Mentes. So what's that? Yeah, Dos Hermanos. But, so going down that story, this brings up my next topic. So when we first started, my girlfriend at the time, and she's still my girlfriend now, she was the third mind, and the third mind has also been a mixture of all different types of people. But this is my next topic for you guys. When you start something, you got to know if someone's 100% in at the very beginning. My girlfriend was very in at the time, but she pursued a career in healthcare. She was going to Iowa State at the time, and when me and my brother started this business, she was involved as well. We mixed around a lot of the different variations of the recipes, and it gets tricky. I mean, there's times where
it wasn't easy.
Yeah, it was never easy. There's times where we were all butting heads, and I will say it's tough having your girlfriend butting heads with your brother, and so
We're all good now, though.
Yeah, we know.
I
Yeah,
love
it's
her.
all
She's
good.
she's my sister. Yeah.
So it got to a point where we eventually had to buy her out early. In the relation, just for everybody's purposes, because Angelo and I knew where this company was going, but I respected where she was coming from, where she needed to pursue her own dreams. But for you guys to answer that question is, if you're starting a business, you got to make sure the person that you're starting that business with is all in with you, because you guys got to go to the trenches together. And if one person's pulling more weight than the other, it only will start any type of negativity within the team. She's still a part of it. We consider the third mind to be a lot of people that community CPA is one of the third minds that we had to do our accounting. But we decided to keep with that name just because from the very start it was always Trace, and yeah, it'll always be Tres Mentes. So, yes, sir. Sure. Yeah. So the question was the process of buying her out. So we had legal paperwork set up. We established right off the bat that Angelo and I would have 50-50 equity share in it, and that she would have 0 equity. But then just because she was one of the founding members, we had legal binding documents saying that she was exiting the company. And then, Angelo, did you want to add anything?
And then we just figured out an amount based on where we were at that current period of sales. So we all agreed on an amount. It was all in paperwork. She signed it, cut her a check, and we're all gravy. We're all good.
So, yes.
As far as the logo, the label, and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
did you have all of the legal things in place first before you started printing the label and pushing your product and all of that, or what was the process for that, for covering yourself?
Sure.
Yeah.
We
got it trademarked for the.
Can you answer the question, or say the question to?
Oh yeah, shoot. What was the question? Sorry. Something like, did you have all your paperwork in line before you started printing pushing your label? And
Trademarking your logo, the label, and everything that
okay.
goes into the face of.
Okay. Yeah. Before we launched, the question was, did we have all our paperwork in line before we pushed the logo, our labels, and everything? And the answer is yes. We got everything trademarked, and we had all our operating agreements, legal paperwork in line, so everybody knew where we were in like stand 50-50 and so forth. So yes, we did have all our paperwork and trademarks in line. It was right in the middle of the craft shows. It was probably within 4 months, 3 to 4 months of us being in business, because then we really saw, okay, outside of selling it in farmers markets and craft shows, it's really starting to pick up steam as far as from gauging it on our social media and our following. So yeah, it was right in between there. So
Yep. Yes, sir. Sure, sure. Oh, so the question was, would we have any different types of salsas from different types of countries? Currently, right now, I mean, you'd be surprised what the amount of work it takes for 4 different types of brand, because you have to look at it as one separate, entity or one separate brand. So people were always asking us how many different flavors, and we just kept it as simple as possible because we want our brand not to we don't want to stretch it too much. We want to be known for doing one thing, but doing it one thing well. And so
then you just
yeah.
battle shelf space in the grocery stores. So they'll say, yeah, you can launch this one, but then we need to take one off because you're competing with national brands. You're competing with 4 or 5 other local competitors. So that's really the biggest thing is just shelf space is what we battle in the grocery industry.
And for you guys, when you start your own businesses, yeah,
What's that?
potentially we'll
Yeah.
see what happens. So, but for you guys to add that, I guess the information for your businesses, try to focus on what you're good at, and just try to do that 100%. There's been so many different directions that people have tried to pull us towards. You guys should, and it's a great idea, but we don't want to distract ourselves from what we're already good at. Because I feel that so many different types of companies try to do too much, and they're only okay at doing those things. Why not be great at doing, a certain number of them? Okay. Yes.
When you drove around to farmers market in the cities,
Yeah.
did you collect a different sales tax? Because each city has different sales taxes.
We'd have to fill out a couple forms before, because when we did craft shows, you'd have to fill out your tax. I believe it's a W9. I don't know. Yeah, W9, and we'd fill it out, and then you'd get certified with your insurance company for like wherever you're selling in that area, because it's food. So
You had insurance right away, right?
yeah, oh yeah. Just because in case anyone gets sick or so forth,
And you want to do it the right way, guys. A lot of times when people start out, and I get it, when money's tight, they kind of want to slip through the cracks. And it's okay to do it to a certain extent, but make sure you do things the right way. Get your paperwork, get your insurance, get all your accounting right off the start. Get it right so you can start a good foundation before. Because when the business really takes off and the workload increases, you'll tend to forget about, even the most important thing, which is a lot of people, I would like to think, accounting is not our favorite, the numbers. And for us, that's almost the most important, if not the only thing that you should worry about, because that's the money coming in, money going out. And so just laying down the foundation is very key. Yes, sir. Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
That's where when I said I cashed out my 401k, that's what helped incorporate that. I put X percentage into the company, and then you gotta, if you really want what you want, you're gonna sacrifice. So we just literally just lived off little money to get it going.
What kind of tools do you guys use to make sure you guys keep yourself separate from the business?
Every week we take out a distribution, a percentage based on our sales. So that's what we take out every week. Yeah, but that didn't start till we
Right.
straight up, yeah. Okay.
How did you guys handle that part?
Yeah.
From counting for every penny for now it's a business, and now we count on that business to make money out of it.
Yeah, well, when we first started, like I said, we were working full-time jobs while we were doing it. So when we would get our paychecks, obviously we'd save some, obviously we'd save the majority of it for the business. But as for the minimal things, paying or feeding ourselves, paying any types of bills. But yeah, no, that's a great question. I think a lot of business owners struggle with that kind of mixing the waters. Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, at the beginning, it helps to have a mom who tells you to save your money and stay on top of your bills and whatnot. But it's a learning process. It's definitely something that I would advise sitting down when you sit down with your accountant and really separating your personal and your business and seeing what different ways you can do for that. So, good question. Yes.
You guys clearly have a good working relationship.
Most of the time. Yeah.
And then that means you can, spitball ideas off of each other.
Yep.
Who are the other people that you have turned to be mentors or listeners?
Yeah. Yeah, so the question was, what mentors outside of just Angelo and I do we look towards of getting information or advice?
Well, we actually have. He's in a different industry than us, but he is. He's. I don't know how to describe as far as like he's where we want to be in 5 years because he owns multiple businesses, like online businesses, e-commerce businesses, and he kind of knows how to like. He just would tell us like, okay, you need guys this year. You need to focus on scale because this is where you're at, and he points us in directions as far as who we need to speak to as far as in our industry of food mentors.
Yeah, and we also
But-
reach out to a lot of people that are in the food industry. You know, when we first started out, there was a it was like a hot sauce company. They saw that we were doing from afar, and they reached out and just said, "Hey, we'd love to help you guys move to the next step." So for you guys, I guess the answer is find people that are in that type of industry. Maybe not your competitors, obviously, but people that you can learn from a small business standpoint. I know I have I have some type of experience, obviously, in the food industry, but I can bring some value to you just from a day-to-day. Okay, how do you manage your personal, and so I guess we would just go and find different type of other local business owners and just ask them questions. Always ask questions. Like, that's why we like to open it up for Q&A, because it's one thing for us to tell you guys about our story, but how does it matter to you and what we can do to help you guys? So, yeah. Yes, sir. Sure. Sure. So the question was basically the growth of our business. Where are we projecting our growth? Yeah, from the very start, it's been mainly Angelo and I just kind of pushing the weight. But as we've started to really grow financially, we've had those talks where we've sat down and said, the workload, along with just us being prepared for all different types of events, is really increasing. We need to start hiring or add a team. We actually just hired three team members that added to our company to do demos, sampling, marketing, and it can be difficult. I mean, obviously, with the tax purposes, when you get to a certain extent where you're paying someone, an actual salary, it can very much, affect the bottom line. And I think that's that's something that we are having some issues with right now is as we grow, when do we need to?
What's scale? That's the toughest thing we're going into our third year of business, and I'm really I was just telling, I don't know, Dan, I was telling him about, I was talking to you about finding mentors in the certain industry that we're in that are 5 steps ahead of us, like bigger food companies, just to see which route they took. Because Phil and I shoulder most of the workload, and it's time for us to start. Maybe if we need to go there's different routes. We can go co-packing it where somebody else produces it for us and then we just handle the marketing and sales, but that really eats into your margin. Or we can straight automate the entire thing, which is also very expensive, where it's just machines and you're just, mass producing this and then going from there. So that's one thing that we've really, we're really trying to brainstorm and figure out this year. So we'll have to check back in with you guys.
Well, and it's tough, too, when you really start growing. I mean, we've had a lot of people from Iowa City, Cedar Rapids area ask us, hey, when are you going to be in our stores? And I guess the problem we face is we're very strategic on when we release a product into a new area, especially outside of Des Moines, because it's one thing to get a sale, guys, but it's another thing to actually execute on getting it off their shelves. We can get into any store, anywhere if we really want to, but the problem is we always like to promise or guarantee to a produce manager the minute we put it in your store, within that first week, it's our job to get it off the shelves. And so we'll never go into a new territory knowing that we don't have the infrastructure ready. And it can be tough for business owners because it's like, I want to get that, I want to get the money, but it's always about your impression or your business. We don't ever want to do bad business with any retailer that we're working with. And it's just the execution of it all. Don't always just go for, hey, okay, they're going to want to do this. So many business owners take in so much business and it ends up crippling their business because they're not prepared for it. And so always start off small. So, yeah.
Your legal structure is 50/50.
Correct.
So I can see when it's small that you discuss on a lot of things, but when it starts growing, which you're doing now, if you had a fight, who would be the final decision maker, or do you have one?
That's yeah. I think that's me, right?
Yeah.
He's we don't know.
It's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
But with you, you both are equals.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
great
probably something we'll
question.
restructure as we get a little bit bigger. We're pretty good at keeping each other honest and doing what's best for the business and checking our egos, because that's where sometimes that can come into play. But we always think if we have to make a very important decision, we always think what's best for the business, and then we just make it together. But I get what you're saying. If somebody wants to override the other person, we really legally can't, because we're both 50-50. But we've done well so far, and I maybe we'll restructure and what. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll probably
It's,
next year.
no,
we'll-
it's a very interesting.
Get really big,
Yeah.
where you know you could go two different directions, and who's gonna be the one? That's why I'm
Sure.
curious.
Yeah.
No, that's a
Are
great
you
question.
doing LLC or you're doing partner?
We're an
LLC.
LLC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great question. Yeah, we
We might switch to, I believe, an S corp because for tax reasons. So,
well, and
yeah.
we're also open to, if someone brings more than just money to the table, if they bring knowledge, have experience, we're also we're open to talking, splitting equity with them as well. Because we look, I mean, you can find money out here if you really want to, but it's who's going to bring that expertise. If someone, came up to us and said, hey, I helped Tabasco for 20 years get their company up, we would definitely sit down and be interested in giving some equity as well. So great question. Yes.
How much do you feel like your backgrounds in business and college contributed to your success?
Yeah. So the question was, how much do we think our backgrounds in college have affected our business?
Specifically that you got a business degree.
Oh, business. Okay.
Yeah. I had some good marketing classes. I wasn't the best student. I've always gotten C's and whatever, but I knew that I always wanted to sell. But what? I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple of marketing classes that I really liked, but for the most part, in comparison to the amount of tuition money I spent, I feel like I could have learned a lot of this stuff on the internet, honestly, and reading a few books. Like there's a handful of books that I've gotten so much knowledge out of that that would Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Damon John, one of the Shark Tank judges, he wrote Power of Broke, getting you to train your mindset on always thinking, being like, you just read it. Yeah, just Power of Broke by Damon John. Power of Broke by Damon John, and then Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which is a classic. And then I don't know if you guys follow, there's a show called $1 Million Listing New York. The top real estate agent, Frederick Eklund. It's called The Sell, and it's just how to just the basics and the tactics of selling anything to anyone. And that's for any business person should read that.
And for people that don't really enjoy reading, the guys that I like to watch on YouTube, Ty Lopez is who I like to watch. You've probably seen him on YouTube. And then there's this one individual that I've been following very recently, and you guys will get to know his name because he's coming up. He invested in Twitter, Snapchat. He's big into social networks. His name's Gary Vaynerchuk, and you really should. I mean, he's very loud, and he can be inappropriate at times, but he speaks the truth in terms of business. And if I was you, if you don't really like to read a full book cover to cover, really get entrenched in that, and you like to see visual, because I'm a visual person, I would look him up on YouTube. He has a Snapchat channel. It's called Gary V, and he's what we like to refer to as just a hustler. Like that's what Angelo and I do. We just hustle. We're no smarter than any of you guys in this room, and the reason why we're standing in front of you guys today is because we used our time to build our business, just like you guys are coming in here today on Saturday, is what we're doing with our time. So many people, and he speaks on this very highly. If you're cool with what you're doing with your job and you're cool with paying your bills and you're good with where you're at, awesome. I'm not telling everybody to go out and be a business owner, but there's so many people in this world that literally go to their job, come back home, complain, but then watch 11 episodes of House of Cards or play Madden for 4 hours. It's what we did with our time is why we're up here today. And that's the only reason, is just stop wasting your time doing things that don't productively help you out. And like Angelo said, just like what you guys are doing, spend a couple hours looking up things on YouTube. Spend a couple hours sitting down with someone that's in the business industry that you like to. So many people are so they're so quick to complain, but then do nothing about it. And you guys are not those people. And that's it. That's the secret. That's all we did. Well, all of our friends were going out and partying on the weekends. We would drive to Council Bluffs and sell salsa.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here,
Yeah,
honestly.
just execute. Because we didn't reinvent the wheel, guys. Like, this is salsa. It's been done before. We just painted our wheel a different color, and we execute at a very high level.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we do.
Yeah. Yes.
You can't patent food products for the. Oh. Correct. Yeah. The way we protect it is just it's like Coca-Cola. They have such a big brand recognition. Like that red label, that logo is just, that's what's their their self.
Yeah, it's what they sell.
Yeah. So like Tres Mentes, that's what we're building. We're building a brand here, like, especially in Des Moines. It's like when they see our logo and it's next to something that probably tastes comparable, if it's around the same price, the consumer's going to be like, okay, well, I know this one. This is the one I know. Like, I'm going to buy Louis Vuitton and pay the premium price because it's Louis Vuitton. You know what I mean? Or
You can buy RC or whatever, but you choose to buy Coca-Cola for a reason. And that's just America. I mean, if you can separate yourself, it's all about branding as fast as possible.
Yeah.
If you can get people synonymous with your brand, even if it tastes the same as everything else. I mean, I'll look you guys dead in the face. We don't make the best salsa in the world.
Yeah.
Be honest with you. And we don't claim that we do. All we do is provide a product that if you like it, it's there. And if you don't, cool. It's so funny. We go into like my friend's house and they like love to open up their fridge and tell them. I was like, if you guys don't have to like buy all the, but but yes. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Yep.
For me, you guys said you worked your 40-hour jobs, but outside of working, how often do you guys meet, like, after work, or what y'all talking during work hours? Like,
Sure.
Oh yeah.
So the question was, what besides work, how much time were we spending on our business?
We were always
24/7.
talking, yeah. We were always talking.
Because you got to
about
look at it like this, guys. If you are really fed up with what you're doing, you would spend every single second figuring out what it is you do want to do. Yeah. This whole class is predicated on finding your passion, right? Yeah. I had no idea what my passion was. You know what I did know? What I didn't want to do. And once I figured that out, once something came up like this, my brother and I, to tell you guys too, we have no culinary background at all. Like we're not even like food guys, but we just saw an opportunity in the market and we spent every single second on it. And so for you, it's like, if you guys are really serious about your business, it's like really serious, you'll figure out a way to make it work. You'll spend every single second. And if it really means something, cool. If it doesn't, go play basketball. Go with your friends. If it matters to you guys, you'll do it. Yes.
Yeah. That's a good question. I just talked with my accountant, and he just advised that an S corp for tax reasons, since you guys are a partnership and you're looking to potentially hire employees, that S corp would probably be the best. So that's where I'm learning too as an individual and a business owner. So I just maybe start looking on the internet too, and then talking really heavily with your accountant.
And we have time for one more question, if anybody. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
it's a great question.
And I was kicking myself in the foot. I was like, Phil, you know what we forgot? We forgot to bring, like, we had it at our kitchen. I know.
It's so bad. So the question was, did we bring salsa? No, we didn't bring salsa.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, we're talking about this. Yeah. We are actually in the process. Yeah, no, we are actually on the process of finalizing the deals. I'm talking with Dan. If you guys, and this I'm asking, if you guys know anybody in this area, and we'll give you our information after. No, we actually are willing to hire a couple of people. And like I said, it's a nice summertime job. We're very flexible. We pay about $10 to $15 an hour. And we're actually looking for a couple people, demo people in this area. And there's vast amount of opportunity for growth in our company. So if you guys do, we love to talk with you. And if you know anybody, especially if it's like son, daughter, or younger kids, we'd love to have them be involved. So we'll come talk to us after the class, and we'll go from there. So, but yeah, anyways, guys, thank you very much for your time. And we appreciate it very much.
watching City Channel 4. On TV, online, on demand, on Facebook, and now on the go on your mobile device.